And again, Miles is back to throw, and Miles is being thrown down by number 23. Tim Wimes brings him down on the sack.
Again, a lack of protection, Jim. That's going to cost them in the long run. You've got to be a little more careful when you're sprinting out. If somebody's got to block that defensive end. Number 23, as a matter of fact, is a defensive back, I think, or defensive end, who came in unblocked.
Wimes at 6'4" now and 205. I don't remember him being that big last year.
I think you followed your diet, Jim.
No, he got taller. Mine's a little different. They go right up the middle, and Ashcroft diving to the 30-yard line. He got 8 on the play, and so that'll bring up 4th down and about 29 yards to go. I think that's why that bus is turning on the engine, because they're going to need that to get there.
I think we've got a 3rd down play.
3rd down, I'm sorry.
Saved one on that penalty. So far, Berkley's best when they run between the tackles.
Zukowski now will be the lone wideout, the tight end, Jeremy McLean. The only sophomore on the roster is on the right-hand side. Let's see what Miles is going to do and how Latrup reacts to it. They go smack up the middle with Ken Carson. Carson gets the ball up to the 35-yard line for a gain of 4, and that will be their final play of this drive, except for the punt, which is coming up. And they'll bring in Rick Barber, who had a 28-yarder his last time.
What you just saw in that last play, Jim, was a counter off of this wing T set that Berkley uses, and I hope to see more of that. That's probably what they're going to need to do if they want to stay in this game.
Back deep, Johnny Hackle, 32. Marvin Falls, number 1. Butterflies, I think, for those who have to try and tackle him. That ball was almost blocked as Richard Harrison came flying in, and the ball will drop at the 40-yard line as Hackle just grabbed it, fell on it. 25-yard punt that time. And so once again, Tiki Ghosh and the rest of the Chargers have great field position. We'll call it the 39-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 Latrup there with 9:33 to go in the second quarter, and it's 7-0 Latrup.
There's a good chance Berkley's punter was thinking about kicking that ball away from number 1. And when you do that, sometimes, unfortunately, you miss the ball.
And it was a line drive that Harrison looked like he was just, he was dead to rights to block, but we're at a little different angle than Richard was. Well, Hackle does everything he can do to make chicken soup out of chicken feathers, as they say. Greg Anderson brings him down after a 2-yard pickup, so it'll be 2nd down and 9 yards, 2nd down and 8 yards to go from the 41. This, we're not going to, pardon the pun, but harp on last year's lack of success for Latrup, but to show you where they are.
In your own angelic fashion, go ahead and harp.
Well, we're doing it. I caught that too, and we may lose Barry at halftime if we keep this up. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. This time, Johnny Hackle to the outside, gets the 1st down. He was brought down by Eric Fairman along with Ken Carson. A 10-yard pickup for a young man who I don't think had any yards rushing last year.
Pulled both guards on this one.
And he ran to the big side with Andy Grossman and Dylan Markham, 240 and 315 on the right-hand side, which is why we're at a tough angle. It's not where we're standing, it's just where they're being positioned. That changes the angle of the field. 1st down and 10 at the 49-yard line. They are in Berkley territory. Willie Morgan is in at one of the running back spots, and to the outside goes the other Willie Norwood, and Norwood gets about 9 yards down to the 41-yard line, so that would be about 8 yards. And we have a flag thrown on the sweep, and we'll get a holding call against the Latrup Chargers. That'll set them back a bit. See if we can see this on the replay.
Great sweep. Willie Norwood gets the pitch, and he's really outside ahead of his blockers. One of the reasons there's probably a hold in there is because he was so far out. A blocker probably reached out and grabbed a defensive player.
The official says blocking below the waist. Barry Smates points out also that the referee for this game is 25-year high school officiating veteran Mel Peters, one of the top officials in all of high school sports, and we're glad that he has that the league has chosen, or rather the High School Athletic Association has chosen to have him work this game. A lot of good ones around, and we like pointing them out to you as we find out more and more about them as well. Tiki, counterplay handoff, and that time Willie Norwood got about 3, maybe 4 yards to the 41-yard line. It was a first and 24. Give him 4, call it second down. Second down and 20. Berkley obviously is doing a good job of reading what Latrup is trying to do. Latrup's trying to mix it up so that Berkley can't read it.
Actually, if you'll notice on this drive, Jim, we haven't seen number 1. I'd kind of think it's about time for Marvin Falls to take charge here.
Well, he's in the pass pattern this time. Willie Morgan and Willie Norwood are the running backs, so we'll have to take a look and see if anything happened to Hackle the last time. Ghosh will throw a little sideline pass, and Marvin Falls comes back on and catches, and we'll give him 7 yards on it, and so it'll bring up third down and 13 yards to go. The ball will be spotted at the 47-yard line, and we'll watch Marvin Falls go low to catch this one.
This is just a little 5-yard out from the slot receiver. Tiki was a little slow in picking him up out there. If he'd hit him a little early with that pass a little higher in the numbers, I think Marvin could have turned that into a bigger gain.
All right, now they'll send Marvin to his own side of the field. He's going one-on-one against Ashcroft. Jenkins to the right side. Ghosh has a week and more to throw. He goes left side and he underthrows Brian Baker on the left-hand side, and it goes incomplete. That was a tough incompletion because Baker was open.
Well, I think one of the things you pointed out correctly there, Jim, is he had a week and a half to throw the ball, and unfortunately sometimes quarterbacks get a little complacent, and he ended up standing flat-footed and tried to throw it sidearm, and that's why the ball dipped right into the ground.
So now, for the first time, if I remember, well, first time today, Tiki Ghosh will kick the football as a punter, and back deep is Ken Carson. Tiki takes it and gets it high and end over end, and it will hit, it will angle out of bounds. So a rather short effort by Tiki, some 18 yards. So they will spot the ball about the 35-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 for Berkley with 6 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the first half, 7-0 in favor of the Chargers on that touchdown pass from Tiki Ghosh to Marvin Falls, 47 yards in length. And now the other 300-pounder, Willie Cheatham, comes out at 5'7" and 315. He's coming into the defensive line. Look at him at number 93.
Could be Coach Harper's chance to get back at the running up the middle style of Berkeley's offense.
And he tries to go up the middle with Carson this time, and Carson gets about 5 yards to the 40. And Willie Cheatham gets up off of him. Second down and 5, and now they will change they'll change at wide receiver, and Zakowski comes in, and out of there is 28 Eric Weiss. And let me just say up front that the pronunciation of Steve Zakowski's name was given to me by Pat Fox, and so we hope we are pronouncing it correctly. He will go to the left-hand side. He will be the only wideout.
Keep your eye on Jeff Burks, number 22 for Berkley.
He's coming out of his wing position. He takes the football, and Gary May calls it, and he gets very close to the first down. 4 if he got it, and 5 if he got it, and 4 if he didn't. Let's watch Willie Cheatham, and let's see what Daryl Harper put him in for.
He really stuffs the middle.
He goes back to it. He'll be in on quite a few tackles.
Looks like that running back's about 3 inches shorter after that play than before.
But at least he got up. Third down and 1. They're going to measure for it, and the folks up here anticipating that it was a little bit short. And it's going to be first down for Berkley.
We haven't seen much of Jeff Burks this quarter. I was kind of looking to see him get the ball more often. Fortunately, we called that one right, and he picked up the first down. Berkeley's still working on trying to establish the ground game. There's no serious trouble yet. 5.5 to play, 7-0. A lot of time.
What we need to point out, too, is Miles is not a prototype quarterback size-wise, 5'8" and 140, so you have to be able to use his running ability a little more than his passing ability, at least at this point in time. And he will hand it off to Burks again, or rather it was not Burks, it would look like Eric Weiss. We'll check it.
Jim
No,
also,
it was Carson. It was Carson. I'm sorry. A couple yards on that one. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Jim, keep in mind, too, as we mentioned at the start of the game, both of Berkley's quarterbacks are juniors, neither with varsity experience, and therefore you could see a lot of play calling from the sideline, a lot of careful, thoughtful, conservative ground attack for a while until these people get their feet wet, so to speak.
Norwood is on the sideline. He has not been in the defensive side of things, but he hasn't been in, it was not in the last offensive series either. And now they'll go to Burks around the right side. Looks like he fell trying to cut to the right side and is down after a no gainer, so it'll be 3rd down and 7. 4:20 to go in the first half. Latrup leads it by the score of 7-0. And as I have mentioned throughout the first half, it is good to have you with us. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, those of you who have found us by mistake, and those of you who have heard all about us and are watching us.
It's nice to be with you too, Jim.
Oh, I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Look out. Miles is hit as he throws, completes it to Jeff Burks, who's open. Harrison's the last man to catch him, and Richard Harrison neckties him down at the 13-yard line, make it about the 18-yard line. Boy, how did he get so wide open? Jeff Burks out of the backfield.
I think you'll see on the replay that he comes underneath the defense. There he is. He's come across the formation underneath the defense. That means he's over the top of the linebackers and under the defensive backs. He just takes the ball on a delay across the middle and takes it up the left sideline. One man caught him.
Yeah, the only man that was left to catch him, Richard Harrison, 40-yard pickup. 1st down and 10. Tries to go with Burks again, and this time on the ground. Jeff Burks stays on his feet. Gets about 7-8 yards. Nick Sandeha was there for the Latrup Chargers, and also up off the bottom is number 66, Sarmed Sinawi.
Once again, Jeff Burks at 6 foot, well, I believe he's 200 pounds, if I'm correct. Yeah, he's 205, 6 foot 205. Solid legs. He can carry a couple of tacklers with him. He'll pick up that short yardage whenever necessary.
2nd down, 6 yards to go. Weiss will go out to the right side. That's Cascade right. Zukowski left. They try the middle this time, and it doesn't work as Ashcroft is brought down. A good one-on-one tackle by 64, Jason Whitlow. Give him 1 on the play and call it 3rd down and 5.
We missed an assignment on the offensive line there. One of the Berkley tackles, I'm not sure who was, missed his assignment. That defensive player was standing there waiting for somebody. You might see a sprint out now, Jim.
Correct myself. Earlier, we were talking about Norwood sitting in the sideline, and he had missed the last series. It was actually Hackle that missed the last series, and he was in there on defense. To the outside now goes Carson, and Carson is stood up and thrown down. Andy Abro was over there along with Nick Sandia. Great double team job, and it's going to be a -2 and a 4th down and a timeout, Berkley. Well, that time they just slowed him down. Abro looked like he slowed him down in time for Sandia or vice versa to come and get him.
Well, Ken Carson gets outside okay, but the defensive back who's supposed to watch that outside pitch, man, came right up to the line of scrimmage just like he's supposed to. If you're going to do something like that, you're going to have a lead blocker. Now, the next thing you might see off a play like that is play action. Do the same thing to the same back, but don't throw the ball. The quarterback keeps and sprints out. When that defensive back bites on the ball carrier, now it's a free pass into the corner of the end zone to the tight end or who's ever back there.
Let you know what to look for at halftime, and it will be something that I'm sure you will want to look forward to. We will have a complete look at our 1990 LO11 schedule. We will have our brand new feature called the Coach's Corner. Our feature of last year that got an awful lot of attention, our Academic Athlete of the Week, and a special salute to an athlete from another sport who has suffered a physical mishap, and we just want to let everybody know about how she, hint, hint, is doing. And we'll also talk a little bit about what's coming up next week and the statistics, and that'll all be coming up right here at halftime. Right now we are at 2:21 to go in the second quarter. The Chargers of Latrup, first quarter touchdown with about 2 minutes remaining, lead it by the score of 7-0. This is a 4th down play now. 4th down, the ball is at around the 10-yard line.
Jeff Burks is back in. He's at the right side of the wing.
See what they'll do, how they can get 6 yards here. Miles to the end zone for Zakowski. Out of bounds.
That'll be
Caught
pass
it out of bounds.
interference. They're going to call that pass interference.